All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're embarking on a pretty wild journey into something that honestly flips history on its head. We're decoding ancient names, but we aren't looking at them as just, mere labels or dusty historical footnotes. We're talking about highly specific, incredibly powerful scientific formulas. The ancient esoteric traditions didn't just see the universe as built on atoms, but literally built upon the very syllables of divine names. So I want you to sit with this question for a second. What if ancient names weren't just convenient tags to identify someone, but were actually energetic equations? I mean, think about it. To the ancient mystics, a name wasn't just a noun. It was a key. It was literally the operating system for reality itself. When we shift our whole paradigm and start looking at the energetic power of words, we actually begin to decode the hidden mechanics of creation and destruction woven right into these ancient texts. Now, to really grasp this, we need to introduce a term, onomatological. Okay, big word, I know. But it's basically the study of the history, meaning, and power of proper names, specifically treating them as energetic constructs. In the source texts we're digging into today, like the books of Enoch, a name isn't just what you call someone. It embodies literal cosmic secrets. It's a container holding the exact celestial laws and spiritual light that an entity is responsible for. Let's look at the ultimate example, the Creator's highest formula, the one given to Moses on Mount Sinai. I am that I am. The sources make it crystal clear this isn't just a sacred name. It is a direct empowerment. It's a literal scientific formula, affirming that age-old Hermetic principle, as above, so below. When you invoke this, it's an energetic affirmation that the Spirit of the living God is present exactly where you are standing in that moment. It's the ultimate anchor for divine reality. And what's fascinating is how other sacred titles map to entirely different, multifaceted manifestations of the divine. Take Elohim, for instance. It's actually a plural term, reflecting a heavenly court of gods and goddesses. Or if we look at the Slavonic tradition of Second Enoch, we get the name Aravat, which is revealed as a specific title for God up in the 10th heaven. Then you have Alpha and Omega, highlighting the self-eternal nature of the deity, the absolute beginning and the end. Each of these names is essentially dialing into a different frequency of the exact same divine source. But, well, here's where things take a dramatic turn. We're shifting focus from the supreme creator to the celestial hosts that descended to earth, the rebellious angels we know as the Watchers, or the Grigori. When these beings fell, they brought forbidden cosmic secrets down with them. And as we're about to see, their very names encoded the exact secrets they were supposed to guard, but ended up leaking to humanity. We can literally crack the Watcher's cipher just by looking at what they're called. Their names are literal job descriptions for their celestial jurisdictions. Take Shemi-Haza, the leader. His name translates to "my name has seen," and wouldn't you know it, he reveals the mysteries of the divine name, along with spells and oaths. Artikov means the earth is mighty, and he governs geological and meteorological signs. Kokabel, star of God, and he guards the astronomical secrets. They aren't just named randomly. These are pure onomatological constructs of their cosmic functions. And this brings us to the actual mechanics of a fall from grace, which is honestly one of the most mind-blowing details in the texts. It's all about the theophoric suffix, that ending "ale" or "el," which translates to God or light. Before his rebellion, the entity is known as Sataniel, and that suffix signifies his original super high-ranking angelic status. But the moment he rebels and is expelled, that divine suffix is stripped away. He becomes just Satan. Losing that suffix isn't just a name change. It's the literal linguistic stripping of his spiritual brilliance. The thing is, the rebellious Watchers understood this science of names perfectly. The texts tell this crazy story about Cosbiel, known as the Chief of the Oath. He was desperate for a hidden name to bind the fallen angels together in this massive, unbreakable pact. He actually asked the Archangel Michael for it. This hidden name is identified as Bika or Aka, and these words possess the exact numerical value, the gematria, of the Creator's own names. They hijacked the mechanics of divine naming to lock in their own rebellion. Which leads us straight to one of the most infamous fallen Watchers of all, Azazel. The source material details this sprawling, almost unbelievable global syncretism around him. Across totally different ancient civilizations, this incredibly powerful entity was masked under various titles. We're talking Apollo in Greece, Shamash in Babylon, Utu in Sumeria, Mithra in Rome, Lu in Ireland, Huitzilopochtli for the Aztecs, and even Susanoo no Mikoto in Japan. While some later biblical texts try to frame him as just a scapegoat, older traditions recognize him as a profoundly influential global deity associated with harmony, justice, and bringing light. When we break down the etymology of his original name, the code is glaringly obvious. Azaz means extreme power. El, as we just talked about, means God or spiritual light. Put them together, and Azazel was originally a literal code word signifying extreme power and spiritual brilliance. It wasn't a demonic label at all. It was an acknowledgement of his incredibly high rank as a leader of the celestial hosts long before the historical narratives diverged. And because of that lingering, recognized power, esoteric practitioners today still use very precise hieratic names to contact him. According to the sources, you can't just use any word. Practitioners use these specific, numerologically sound names designed purely for summoning. By using vocalizations like Azazel, Udaduthu, Payana, or Apollon, the belief is that they are tuning into the exact energetic frequency needed to make direct spiritual contact. Now, let's contrast that with another really formidable figure, Samael. Spelled with the Hebrew letters Samek and Mem, the prefix Sam is totally dualistic. It can mean medicine, perfume, or poison. So his name literally translates as both the medicine of God and the poison of God. He's described as the angel of death, but specifically to the human ego. To our pride, his energy is a toxic poison, a bitter drink like wormwood. But for a soul that's actually seeking illumination, that exact same energy acts as a curing medicine. It's essentially a spiritual detox. So what does this all mean for us? How do we actually apply this incredible science of names? The sources speak highly of invoking decrees in the name of ascended masters like Jesus or Saint Germain. When a practitioner issues a command in their name, that name acts as a literal spiritual chalice. You aren't just dropping their name for clout, you are automatically accessing the specific portion of divine power that their particular name unlocks and holds. The texts refer to this as the science of the spoken word, which is basically practical spiritual alchemy. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, you speak the decree or mantra out loud. Step 2, you access that spiritual chalice opened by the specific name. And step 3 is building momentum. Repetition is absolutely key here. Repeating divine names, whether that's I am that I am, the Lord's Prayer, or the Hail Mary, acts as an energy equation. With every single repetition, you're actively invoking and building a cascading waterfall of spiritual light to heal your mind and soul. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from all these ancient texts. If words are literal energetic constructs and divine names are scientific formulas that can unlock the universe, well, the most powerful phrase you have access to is your own individualized God source. So I'm going to leave you with this. How will you use the power of your own I am presence today? Use it wisely, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.